Welcome to A1 Storyteller, where we don't just tell stories, we bring them to life with every heartbeat, every tear, and every clapback moment you never saw coming. Today's story is one for the books. Imagine being the new kid in a school where the hallways are ruled by bullies, where power comes from fear and the loudest voice always seems to win. Now imagine a quiet black girl walking into that storm, not to cause trouble, but to be herself, strong, unapologetic, unbreakable. But what happens when a notorious school bully, cocky, arrogant, and used to being feared, sets his sights on her? What happens when he pushes too far, assuming she's just another target? He thinks he knows how the story will end, but in just 10 seconds, everything changes. This is not just a story about bullying, it's a story about resilience, about knowing your worth, about how sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one everyone underestimates. This is Destiny's story, and by the end of it, you'll know exactly why they never should have messed with her. Let's get into it. Destiny James stepped off the school bus with her hood up and her earbuds in. The beat of Kendrick Lamar's All Right pulsing through her ears. Her heart thudded in rhythm with every step toward the front doors of Riverview High. New school, new city, same routine. Stay low, stay out the way. Don't let anyone pull you off center. She was used to being the new girl. Her mom worked for a national healthcare nonprofit that relocated often. That meant Destiny had been to 5 different schools in the past 3 years. But she had never walked into a school like Riverview High. The first thing she noticed wasn't the building, it was the stairs. Not curious stares, not even who's she stares. These were sharper, judgy, cold. She was one of the few black students here, and she felt that fact land on her shoulders like weight in a backpack. Some kids didn't even try to hide their double takes as she passed, but Destiny didn't flinch. Her thick curls were tied back in a high puff that defied gravity. She wore clean black jeans, a fitted graphic tee that read "Unbothered," and over her shoulder hung a forest green tactical backpack, stitched with patches that hinted at a past most kids wouldn't understand. She walked straight to the front office, introduced herself politely, and took her schedule. No attitude, no hesitation, but there was something in her walk, something unshakable. She wasn't trying to stand out, but she couldn't help it. That kind of presence? It doesn't go unnoticed. Especially not by him. Bradley Hawkins leaned against the wall near the lockers like he had every right to be there, because in his mind he did. He was the kind of guy the school revolved around. Football captain, homecoming prince 2 years in a row, and the unofficial ruler of the junior class. He didn't get good grades, but he didn't need to. Teachers passed him off like a hot potato. His dad was on the school board and his mom threw fundraisers. That gave Bradley a kind of invisible shield, one that protected him when he tripped other students in the hall, made slick comments in class, or spread rumors about kids who didn't kiss up. To his boys, he was a legend. To his teachers, a charming menace. To anyone outside his circle, he was trouble. Bradley loved power, he loved being in control, and he especially loved targeting people who didn't fit. So when he saw Destiny walk in, head high, eyes forward, no fear in her stride, he felt something stir in his gut. Not attraction, not curiosity, but irritation. Who did she think she was? He nudged his friend Marcus. Check her out. Miss Independent just walked in like she owns the place. Marcus laughed. You gonna say something? Bradley smirked. Oh, I will. Let her get comfortable first, then I'll introduce her to my school. It didn't take long. By third period, Destiny had already experienced the Riverview Whisper network. She could feel it buzzing around her, people staring, a little longer than necessary, whispering behind hands, snapping pictures when they thought she wasn't looking. In chemistry, she answered a question no one else could. The teacher nodded in approval. But the room fell silent. Unfriendly silent. At lunch, Destiny found a quiet table near the back of the cafeteria, took out a book, Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and began reading. She didn't mind eating alone, she'd done it plenty of times before, But her solitude didn't last. Bradley strolled up like he was on a stage, flanked by Marcus and a girl named Lexi. He leaned against the edge of her table, blocking the light with his oversized varsity jacket. "Hey, bookworm," he said, "you always eat alone or just when you're not invited?" Destiny glanced up, slowly closed her book, and locked eyes with him. "I choose peace," she said simply. "But I'm not afraid of noise." Bradley blinked. For a moment the smile faltered. He wasn't used to resistance, especially not like this. Calm, unshaken. She didn't play into his performance. She didn't look scared, she looked in control. He leaned closer. "You got a smart mouth. Might want to watch that." Destiny shrugged. "Might want to work on your pickup lines." His crew howled in surprise. Bradley's ears burned. The clapback had landed. "Careful," he muttered. "People who don't learn their place tend to get reminded." Destiny picked up her book again. "And people who try too hard to scare others usually end up embarrassed." He stepped back, stunned. No one had ever handled him like that. And just like that, she became his obsession. By the end of the day, the school was buzzing like a beehive set on fire. The new girl roasted Bradley. She told him off in front of everyone. "She ain't scared of nobody." Screenshots and fake quotes flew through group chats. People were embellishing the story already, adding in punches, slaps, and imaginary one-liners. Destiny hadn't even said. Some of the football players laughed it off, but others were nervous. "She's gonna make him look weak. You know Bradley ain't letting that slide." Destiny, however, remained unbothered. She walked the halls like she had every right to be there. Because she did. She ignored the stares, the comments, the whispers. This wasn't her first time being underestimated, and it probably wouldn't be the last. But not everyone was laughing. Bradley? He stewed. That night he stared at the ceiling in his dark bedroom, jaw clenched. He had to regain control, reclaim his throne. "You want a spotlight?" he muttered to himself. "Fine, I'll give you one." The next day, he slipped a note into Destiny's locker. No name, no signature. "Meet me in the gym after last period. Someone's messing with your stuff." A trap was set, and Bradley had no idea he was the one walking into it. The next morning, Destiny could feel it. The air was different. She walked into school with the same quiet confidence, but the stares were sharper now. Whispers traveled faster. It wasn't like the day before. This was heavier, darker. She noticed how certain students, mostly from Bradley's crew, kept glancing her way and smirking. It was obvious. They were planning something. And Destiny? She wasn't surprised. Because people like Bradley didn't just let things go. Not when they had their pride bruised in front of the entire school. Sure enough, just before her last class, Destiny opened her locker and found a note stuck between her books. Written in shaky, all-caps handwriting, "Meet me in the gym after school. Just you, let's finish this." There was no signature, but it didn't need one. Bradley Hawkins was calling her out, and it reeked of setup. Destiny stared at the note for a second, then folded it slowly and tucked it into her pocket. She didn't need to think twice. This wasn't fear, this was familiar. She'd seen this kind of stunt before in her old school. The ambushes, the mind games, the weak boy tactics disguised as reclaiming dominance. But what these boys never seemed to learn was this: you don't set a trap for someone who trained in survival. So, Destiny calmly zipped up her backpack and walked to class like nothing happened, but mentally, she was already preparing. Every block, every breath, every move. Destiny stepped into the dim gym, her footsteps echoing softly against the polished hardwood. The final bell had rung and the school was practically empty. But not here, not now. Her eyes scanned the shadows. The bleachers were folded, the basketballs were tucked away. It looked abandoned. Then came the voices. "Well, look who showed up," Bradley called out, stepping from the shadows with Marcus and Trey behind him. Destiny stood her ground. Her face was calm, unreadable. Not scared, not angry, just steady. "You left this in your locker," Marcus said, waving the note that was never hers. Destiny didn't flinch. "So that's what this is, an ambush?" Bradley stepped closer, cracking his knuckles like he was on a WWE poster. "Nah, just a lesson. Someone needs to remind you who runs this school." He lunged forward. It was sloppy, wild. He was fast, but he had no control. Destiny? She had plenty. She sidestepped him with ballerina-level balance, hooked her arm under his extended wrist, and used his own force against him. With a quick pivot, she flipped him over her shoulder. Boom! He hit the floor with the full weight of his pride and body. The air left his lungs with a gasp. 10 seconds hadn't even passed yet. He scrambled up, face burning, eyes full of fury. "Lucky hit," he spat, rushing her again. Destiny crouched low, deflected the punch, spun on her heel, and swept his legs out from under him. Slam! Down again. Marcus and Trey backed up, wide-eyed, frozen. Destiny exhaled softly. "Are we done?" she asked. Bradley groaned, staring up at the ceiling, his breath ragged, his ego shattered. 10 seconds. That's all it took for the self-proclaimed king to get dethroned. The video went viral before dinner. A student hiding behind the gym door had recorded the whole thing. The flips, the takedowns, the silence after the storm. By 7 p.m., the clip was on TikTok with thousands of views and climbing. The captions read, "Bradley got rocked. Destiny is a literal weapon. Why is she not teaching a martial arts class?" But what people didn't know yet was the full story behind Destiny James. That night, the principal summoned her mother, Dr. Janine James, to the school. Not for suspension, not for punishment, but for understanding. Destiny calmly explained everything. The note, the ambush, her measured self-defense. She didn't gloat. She didn't rant. Just facts. Dr. James backed her up with a calm fire only a mother could deliver. "My daughter isn't violent, but she is trained. She knows how to defend herself, and when. Her father made sure of that." Her father, Master Sergeant David James, was a retired Marine with 22 years of service, a tactical expert, a survival instructor, a real one. He'd started teaching Destiny martial arts when she was 5, first for fun, then for confidence, then for protection. She held a black belt in Taekwondo. She'd placed in regional jiu-jitsu tournaments, and she could disarm an attacker in under 4 seconds. So no, she didn't need to fight, but if forced, she wouldn't hesitate. Bradley didn't show up to school for 3 days. Word was he told his parents he had the flu. But everyone knew the real illness. Embarrassed, his crew distanced themselves fast. The same people who laughed at Destiny before were now reposting her videos and calling her a hero. Even the football team, his sanctuary, started acting weird around him. "Yo, you good, man?" Marcus asked on day 4 when Bradley finally showed up. Bradley just shrugged, walking down the hall with his hoodie pulled tight over his head. Gone was the confident strut, the swagger, the smirk. Now? He moved like a ghost. Some people snickered as he passed. Others just looked away awkwardly. His throne? Gone. His crown? Shattered. Destiny, on the other hand, didn't gloat. She didn't repost the video. She didn't talk about it at all. She walked the same way she always had. Calm, direct, graceful. She didn't need revenge. Her self-respect had done all the talking. A week after the incident, as students poured out of class and into the sunshine of an early spring afternoon, Bradley stood by the library steps, waiting. He looked nervous, clumsy even. Destiny approached, headphones around her neck, phone in hand. He stepped forward. "Hey," he said, voice low. She stopped, looked him in the eye, didn't smile. He began, rubbing the back of his neck. "I just wanted to say I was wrong. About everything. I was a jerk. I was trying to show off, and I crossed the line." Destiny didn't speak right away. Finally, she said, "You weren't trying to show off. You were trying to control something you didn't understand." Bradley nodded. "Yeah, that too." A long pause. "Look, I don't expect us to be cool or anything. I get it now. You weren't scared of me, And that scared me. That admission hit different. Destiny tilted her head. Fear makes people dangerous, but it doesn't make them powerful. Bradley took that in. You really that trained? He asked. She half smiled. Wouldn't you like to know? He chuckled. Okay, fair. Before she walked away, he said one more thing. You changed how people see things around here, how they see me. That's not a bad thing. Destiny nodded once, then walked away, lesson delivered. Destiny didn't become famous overnight, but she did become respected. Over the next few weeks, she started a self-defense club at school, open to anyone, girls, boys, seniors, freshmen, whoever wanted to learn. It grew fast. She taught techniques, but also discipline, boundaries, confidence, the kind that didn't come from throwing punches, but from knowing when you didn't have to. And Bradley? He joined, not right away, but he showed up quietly one Thursday after school. No jokes, no attitude, just a beginner's humility. Destiny welcomed him without a word. The gym became a place of transformation. By the end of the semester, the entire school had shifted. Less bullying, more respect, more balance. People stopped underestimating the quiet ones. And Destiny, she never once threw another punch at school. She didn't have to, because in 10 seconds she changed the entire culture of Riverview High. And just like that, one school, one girl, and 10 seconds changed everything. Destiny didn't come to Riverview to prove anything, but she ended up teaching the entire school a lesson they'd never forget. She taught them that strength isn't loud. It's not cruel. It doesn't have to show off. Real strength, it walks in silence. It moves with discipline, and when necessary, it strikes with precision. Bradley thought he was setting a trap, but the only thing he caught was a hard look in the mirror. From the lunchroom to the locker room, Destiny flipped the script on bullies, on fear, and on the idea that being black, quiet, and different makes you weak. Nah, she showed them the truth. She showed them power, and best believe this is only the beginning of her legacy. You've been watching A1 Storyteller, where every story hits harder than the last. If this tale gripped your soul, made you cheer, or gave you chills, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because at A1 Storyteller, we don't just tell stories, we tell the ones that leave a mark. Stay tuned, because next time, it's going to hit even harder.